Can we reform the Republican Party? This is a question that I'm often asked, and I would like to answer carefully. For the Republican Party to be reformed, and by that I mean transformed into a biblically based party, not in name only, but in practice, would require a major shift in leadership. The Republican establishment is moderate or progressive centrist, and they have dictated to its followers for some years now how they should vote on issues and for whom they must vote in order to win the election. It has been, for some time, a moderate or progressive candidate that has been offered. This is why we must have a transformation in the Republican Party if we're going to make any headway. The Republican establishment is neither biblical nor conservative by historic or even biblical conservative standards. The Republican establishment has compromised their moral and philosophical principles with socialistic, be it conservative semi-socialistic ideology. They still believe that it is the state that must impose itself in much of the private lives of the American citizens. Yes, in one sense, they are more conservative politically, but in reality, they differ little from the liberal statist mentality of the Democrat Party. So, what do I mean by the term statism? Statism is a political philosophy, whether maintained by a conservative or liberal, that views the role of the state to legislate or enforce non-biblical law or morality in political, cultural, social, educational, and economic practices. This is a form of utilitarianism, which is humanistic. This system promotes the view that the state has a major and legitimate role in directing the economy, either directly through regulated market economies with large amounts of government intervention or through regulation. Statism asserts that the state has a legitimate or necessary role within the framework of a capitalist economy by the establishment of the Federal Reserve System, the creation of fiat currency, controlling and correcting market failures, promoting economic growth by federal mandates, minimum wage, and many other violations that are just too numerous to mention. Therefore, the promoting of these principles by conservative or liberal standards matters little. Both are unbiblical and create an injustice in our nation and a dependence upon government for all the answers. It is the fallacy of political salvation. For the Christian, this is simply not acceptable. What we must realize in this, if we are going to reform the Republican Party, as Christians in the Republican Party, we must remove all moderate centrists from positions of authority and replace them with individuals who hold to a Christian theistic worldview. Conservative humanistic statism is not acceptable to the Christian. The Republican platform must first and foremost seek to honor the God of Christianity by implementing God's laws as our standard for morality and family values. To talk of morality and family values in a conservative abstraction means nothing. They are simply words with no substance. We must move the government from every area where it intrudes into the realm of the family, so that the family becomes central again to the biblical mandated requirements of a God-honoring magistrate. There's much more to be considered, and we will address many of these issues in future presentations. We must consider also if a third party is viable at this time, or if there is another alternative that we also should consider. Let us be courageous, yet loving and gracious in seeking to make changes to the glory and honor of Jesus Christ. Let us not forget Proverbs 14:34. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Psalm 9:17 says, "The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God."